Hey there, Ron Beebe with RonBeebe.com, taking the sting out of home lending every day. The question I get asked often is, what are closing costs? Not what are the dollars, but can you help me understand what they are? So let's just go with a purchase of a home. If you're buying a house, let's get away from the actual down payment part and talk about just the closing costs. What is it going to cost me to purchase this property in costs? So closing costs are comprised of several different things, and you're going to see different sections if you were to look at a closing cost estimate. And the 800 section on the closing cost estimate is lender fees. What fees are you being charged by the lender? That has to show in the 800 section. So in my world, we have an $895 lender fee. This is as of June 2022, and it is subject to go up because sometimes they do. But our lender fee is $895. We will reduce our lender fee by $250 if you are a first responder, to show our huge appreciation for people in that field. So EMTs, firemen, people like that are going to get a reduction off our already low lender fee. Most national lenders are charging $1,100, $1,300, I've even seen $1,500 in lender fees. So our $895 is very low and can also be reduced if you're a first responder. Thank you for your service. Then you'll have things like the credit report fee. That's $105 in most cases, also subject to change. Flood cert fee. We have to verify the property is not in a flood zone, and each year ping that address to make sure it's not put into a flood zone, since they sometimes change. Case in point, Downingtown with Hurricane Ida at the end of 2021, almost that entire zip code is now in a flood zone, and it should be. So those are all in your 800 section, which you'll then be able to say, okay, that's what the lender's charging. Then you'll go to the title fees. Title insurance is most likely going to be the largest fee that you have in the state of Pennsylvania. It's very expensive, but it actually guarantees you that you're not going to have a property that has any liens, judgments, or encumbrances against it from the seller. Clear title. Clear title means that you're not going to get any of those liens, judgments, or encumbrances on the property when you take ownership. So the title insurance, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Then you have endorsements. Those are the things that are attached to the title policy and recorded at the courthouse. Things like, do you own the property fee simple? Is it a PUD or planned unit development where you're in a homeowners association? Is it a condominium? Are there any environmental endorsements? Those are all the endorsements that go behind the mortgage that we have to verify on each property. Other things you're going to pay, which are expensive, are your transfer tax. When you buy a property outside of several zip codes like Philadelphia, Coatesville, City, and I think Tredyffrin, you're paying 1% of the purchase price in a transfer tax on most transactions. In an auction, you're paying both sides of the transfer tax. So that transfer tax, if you bought a $500,000 property, is $5,000. That's probably one of the most expensive things you're going to have. So that's a big charge to the customer. And if you look at a typical scenario, me doing this for 21 years, if I do a scenario for a $250,000 purchase, which is extremely rare nowadays, but if you did buy a house for $250,000, closing costs typically come in at 6%. So on a $250,000 purchase, your closing costs are going to be around $15,000. If you buy a $500,000 property, it may not be 6%. It may not be $30,000. But I want a customer to think that so that they're prepared for the worst case scenario. And of course, every transaction is different, but at least this is a good general gauge of what the costs might be and why they are what they are. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me at ronbeebe.com or 484-802-1728. Make it a great day.